So I have read the Daniel 2020 textbook in its entirety, and the first ethical principle from the standard ACA Code of Ethics that I feel in most in harmony with in my personal and spiritual beliefs is justice. Um, so the ACA Code of Ethics defines justice by saying it's when we treat individuals equitably and foster fairness and equality. And for me, this really resonates with me spiritually. So, as a Christian, I always want to treat others equally, regardless of what their faith or background looks like. And I feel like I am that way because that is how I believe our God is. In Daniel 2020, it says how my commitment to my client is not based off of their commitment to me. And this really reminded me of the way our relationship should be with God. In Timothy 2:13, it says, if we are faithless, he remains faithful. I think this is so powerful and really defines a lot about what the counseling relationship can look like. Even if our client may not feel like they can give 100% into their treatment or they feel like they're falling short, that doesn't dictate how we as counselors show up for them. And I think that's really similar to the way God shows up for us, even when we don't show up for him, when we stray away from him, when we, do against his will, he still shows up for us. So I just feel like in our society now, there can be a lot of division when it comes to religion, especially when it gets political, when there's different beliefs, different backgrounds for people. I truly believe in a God that loves everyone anyways, whether you're Christian, Catholic, Protestant, Jewish. I think our God is someone that accepts everyone, and he's an accepting and loving, forgiving God. In the past, I can admit that I would maybe have passed judgment on people that didn't have a relationship with God, and not in so much a way that I thought I was better than them, but I almost felt like sorry for them in a way, because I felt like their life could be so much better, because I knew that God could do for them what he's done for me, and I want that for other people. So this course and this reading has just kind of educated me a lot on how, regardless of where people are in their spirituality and their journey, we're still just called to support them. And that's how counseling is too. We're called to support these clients regardless of kind of where they stand. To create this change in myself, because like I said, I was not always like this. I did struggle. I grew up Catholic, and I felt like I did have a little bit of a narrow way of thinking in the past. But I really dove into scripture, and what I learned through scripture was that it was actually very applicable to real life. It's very relatable, and I really started focusing on my own relationship with God and not just the one that my parents had created for me. And this really created a big difference for me. Something I feel maybe I don't align as well with would be veracity. So this is dealing truthfully with individuals with whom counselors come in contact with professionally. Obviously, it's not that I don't believe in being truthful, because I do wholeheartedly. However, in my personal life, I feel faith is a big part of my truth. And if a client does not, maybe believe in God or believe in integration and counseling, it can be hard because it's such a large part of my life. So kind of dealing with a client who maybe disregards any kind of belief in God could maybe make me feel as if I'm not being truthful. I might feel like I'm having to hold back. Like I said, I think it's coming from a place of me wanting other people to experience the love and peace and grace of God, but also I have to remember that isn't going to be the case for everybody, and it's not always going to be an appropriate approach. So in one study by Wong Kao and others, they said a counselor must first have personal congruence to finally generate it as part of abilities in counseling or therapy. And I think this is pretty much kind of my thought process, was that I need to find this congruence with my truth and my spirituality and dealing with others. So until that's at peace within myself, it's going to be hard to deal with clients. Um, so I think this is a good way for me to kind of view it, that I need to have this congruence where I can kind of separate myself and, want to encourage integration for clients, but also know that it's not going to work for everybody. And I can't expect it to work for others the way it's worked for me. So I think that that's obviously something I need to work on, is that truth for one person is not always going to be the truth for another person. But still remaining truthful about the process itself. So I feel like this truth is kind of dealing with, religion, but also remaining truthful and just acknowledging that what I might see as the truth is not going to be what maybe my clients always see as the truth.